More than a year after it bowed out, I'm still thinking about the deserving young Sheldon character who will never have their own spin-off. The Big Bang Theory ended in 2019, but the universe it kickstarted lives. Young Sheldon ran for 5 more seasons after its parent series wrapped up, but even after that, Chuck Lorre continues to grow the franchise. The Young Sheldon ending effectively launched Georgie and Mandy's first marriage, another prequel series that tackles the titular characters' ups and downs as new parents. While it barely has any ties to the Big Bang Theory, older George's appearance before Sheldon's wedding revealed some interesting information that makes the new spin-off more exciting. Beyond CBS, Lorre is re-teaming with the Big Bang Theory co-creator Bill Prady to do Stuart Fails to Save the Universe for HBO Maximum. Unlike Young Sheldon and Georgie and Mandy's first marriage, it will take place in the modern era, albeit with some twists. It will also shine a light on some of the Big Bang Theory's best supporting characters. Depending on how successful Lorre's new endeavors will be, it's safe to say that there will be more spin-offs from the universe. Sadly, the one young Sheldon character who is primed for an offshoot will unlikely get their own show, McKenna Grace's Paige Swanson. Paige Swanson was one of the best characters in Young Sheldon. Young Sheldon Paige Swanson. Young Sheldon Season 2 introduced Paige, who became a recurring guest star in the next several years. As Sheldon's fellow child prodigy, the pair's relationship was complicated thus far, at least for him. However, Paige's Cooper family relationship also extended to Missy, as the pair became better friends. Smart, fun, and overall better adjusted than Sheldon, Paige had the ideal childhood until her parents split up. This led her down a dark path that involved rebelling and even quitting school altogether. Despite not being part of the main cast, young Sheldon was able to effectively craft a compelling personal story for Paige, and it did so in a handful of episodes. Considering how neglected Missy was in Young Sheldon, the fact that the Big Bang Theory spin-off was able to give Paige a clear arc is impressive for her, but insulting George and Mary's only daughter. Ultimately, Paige functions as a cautionary tale for both Sheldon and Missy. Unfortunately, however, Paige's story still has so many questions waiting to be answered. Paige's story was left unresolved in Young Sheldon. McKenna Grace as Paige holding a map in Young Sheldon Season 6. Because CBS ended Young Sheldon during a shortened year due to the dual Hollywood strikes of 2023, it had limited time to tackle all the lingering storylines set up in its previous seasons. The Big Bang Theory prequel didn't even have enough time to properly address what was going on with every single member of the family. The focus of Young Sheldon Season 7 was to set up 2 main plot lines: the unexpected death of George and Sheldon's move from Texas to California to start his postgraduate studies at Caltech. Both of those narratives were properly done and were the pillars of the show's finale. However, this came at the expense of other storylines, including Paige's arc. Understandably, Young Sheldon was focused on wrapping up narratives that had massive implications for what we know about Sheldon's life in the Big Bang Theory. While the prequel was lax at preserving continuity, the main driver of its ending was the writer's desire to stick to the established timeline in the nerd-centric sitcom. So, ultimately, Young Sheldon was not able to revisit Paige's story again. The last time she was on the screen was during her and Missy's daring attempt to drive to Florida from Texas. This was at the height of rebellion for Sheldon's twin after feeling neglected by her parents for so long. While the consequences of Missy's actions played out on the screen, we never find out what happened to Paige. To make things worse, there was no mention of her whatsoever in the Big Bang Theory. Sheldon claimed that he was the only child prodigy in Texas, which Young Sheldon effectively debunked with Paige. Why the TBBT universe won't give her a spin-off, even though they should. McKenna Grace as Paige in Young Sheldon. Sadly, despite the narrative potential for Paige's story to be resolved, it's highly unlikely that this is in the cards for Lorre and his team. The Big Bang Theory's Raj is also in a similar situation, and there's an argument to be made that he deserves the much-clamored offshoot. However, the chances of that happening are also very little to none. For Paige, specifically, however, other factors make her proposed Young Sheldon spin-off almost impossible. Aside from the seeming lack of interest from the producers, McKenna Grace may not have the time to commit to a TV show where she's the lead. The actor has been trying a lot of things in her career, including entering the music scene. A Paige-centered Young Sheldon spin-off is just not a priority right now. While there's always a possibility that it could be revisited in the next few years, the sad reality is, there's a better chance that her fate will be revealed in a throwaway line than be tackled in a proper story.